Hey y'all, it's your girl Money Swire here to talk to you about getting grants for the GET series, which is Gifted, Enlightened, and Transparent. And today I'm going to be showing you a template that I share with clients who are interested in putting together a funding proposal, but they don't know where to start. For this template that we're going to be doing together, which will hopefully help you with putting together the proposal that you need to put together, we're going to be doing a youth nutrition and cooking skills event. The date of the proposal being drafted is here. And the starting point, you have to brainstorm what your starting point is going to be. But Amy, Jim, and Lisa are educators at a local elementary school and want to host an event for students to teach new skills that aren't covered in their school curriculum. The project title could be the name of the event. I'm going to be doing the responses in red and the questions are going to stay in black. Now, Chefs LLC might be owned by Amy, and she's getting the funding on behalf of this event that she's doing in partnership with Jim and Lisa, who all three teach at a local school. They're not getting the funding on behalf of the school. They're not getting the funding on behalf of themselves as individuals. They are getting the funding through a business. And let's say their funding request is $15,000. No, you might not know the amount that you need. And if you don't, you can just skip that, but we'll start there. A mission or vision statement can really be pulled from the starting point for students to teach you skills that aren't covered in the school curriculum. If you're working with me and you don't know what your vision statement is, I really encourage you to just put something because I'll help you spruce it up. Let's see, to learn new skills, focus on health and wellness using food. Okay, now for a business, you're not going to have a board, so that'll be NA. Diversity and inclusion practices within your organization. Maybe it's POC led. Maybe Amy, Jim, and Lisa are people of color, and so they have inclusive practices because they are from historically underserved backgrounds. So we're going to go through this section first. Short-term goals for the program. You could think of a couple short-term goals would be teaching teamwork, introducing new foods. Okay. Long-term goals. Increasing the significance of health and wellness in how they view food. Changing participants' relationships to food, okay? How will they be achieved? This is where you'll describe the event itself. Maybe it's a one-day event. Maybe it's a one-week event, you know? Maybe there's hands-on activities. Maybe they get to actually take home dishes, okay? To introduce to families. And I'd actually put that over here because if you're including more people, like family members, into the program, and then maybe it's an annual event, then you're actually allowing that practice to go through more than just the students who are participating, which can allow it to be a more long-term impact. So how does this project align with your organization's overall mission and goals? So Cooking for Fuel, how does that project align with Chefs LLC? Chefs LLC is all about preparing. Maybe Chefs LLC is vegan. Let's say that Chefs LLC is a vegan, or we'll say has a vegan and plant-based menu that centers communities of color being introduced to a wider range of recipes. Okay. Who's part of the team? We got Amy, Jim, and Lisa. Okay. And here, how does your team's experience? Now, you might say Amy is Chefs LLC founder and executive director. Jim is maybe he's a PE teacher at local school, and he's interested in being a part of this because he sees a lack of day-to-day wellness education, in the school. And maybe Lisa is a nutritionist, y'all, and has, her nutritionist license. You'll want to beef these up some more, but make sure that you include licenses, certifications, employment background, stuff like that. The organizational budget is how much the business, so this is actually going to be a spreadsheet that will be attached, but it's the revenue and expenses of the whole business. The project budget is the revenue and expenses of the Cooking for Fuel project. Okay. So this is being pulled from out of the revenue expenses. Sometimes proposals ask for the whole budget. Sometimes they ask for the project budget. It's good to have both just so that you're prepared. So the population being served, the folks that are participating in the program will probably, you want to talk about their age. Maybe it's middle school, boys and girls, students of color, from low income, and it might not be, but this is just an example, from low income households based in the Detroit metropolitan area. Community partners might be this local school, the local school's physical education program. Maybe it's wherever Lisa got her nutritionist license. Maybe she's with the University of Michigan and she can get resources from them. And resources don't have to be money. Resources could be the event is going to be held on campus at U of M because Lisa has access to booking spaces on the campus. And then that gives students the opportunity to actually engage with a college campus and see what the college campus look like. Maybe they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So there's community involvement, community partners. Maybe you've got the PTA, the Parent Teacher Association, that's willing to participate and advertise and market the event among students, okay? So any significant financial issues, maybe Chefs LLC has a large loan or a small loan, you'll want to definitely disclose that to a funder. How do you plan to maintain financial sustainability? Maybe the course itself doesn't cost students anymore but $10. Maybe they're putting in $10 just to cover their utensils or their takeaway dishes, and you can put that in there, but the rest of the program is subsidized by this funding or some other funding in combination with this funding. You'll definitely want to outline that. How do you track and manage budget line items? Maybe you use a spreadsheet, and I'll type in here. Maybe you use a spreadsheet. Maybe you use QuickBooks. Maybe you use a binder of, maybe you keep your receipts. These are all different methods that you might use. Maybe you have a tax professional that you meet with annually. How is participant feedback incorporated? Maybe you do a post-event survey. It's distributed digitally to all participants and parents, okay? And then that's reviewed after the program. So talk about what happens during that review process and how you can use that. Feedback is incorporated. Okay, how do you recruit and retain volunteers? Maybe they are introduced to the program during PE classes. Okay. Maybe the PTA has a flyer that they distribute. So how do you measure and define success? This is really going to be up to you. Maybe it's the number of students who participate, increase increasing student participation. And you could even get more specific in short-term and long-term success. So student participation, and then maybe you are keeping an eye on like what school lunches look like over time. Maybe students are starting to do more plant-based options for their school lunches, stuff like that. How does your program plan to adapt to changing needs? This is going to make sure that you incorporate the survey responses and parent feedback to anticipate those changes. And then what are the intended outcomes? Maybe you want to see more active participation in PE classes or more plant-based options incorporated in the cafeteria. How do you ensure your programs are achieving those outcomes? Now, not every single proposal is going to ask every single one of these questions, but some ways that you might ensure that the program is achieving these outcomes is doing a follow-up survey to people who re-engage in the event, or seeing how many students participate in the event again that following year. Maybe that's another measure of success that you can use to judge the effectiveness of the program long term. This is really like a short-term effectiveness, while this is more of a long-term effectiveness. So after you go through and look at these responses, and specifically after you look at your budget, then you're going to go back and update this number. Maybe you find out like you want to compensate some featured speakers to come in and talk to the students, and that raises the budget a little bit. Maybe that's where you put here, including featured speakers in the event will like featured speakers on like health and nutrition and stuff like that. Maybe people that the students love and they didn't know that their favorite musician is actually a nutritionist, or their favorite athlete is really into meal prepping, and you can get someone that they really like. Maybe it's like a local basketball player or someone from the local college. Including featured speakers to present will expand program marketability and increase recruitment. So more people will want to come. Maybe this additional funding is all about getting some featured speakers. And so you'll amp up the budget a bit with that. Or you'll amp up the funding request a bit with that. But the budget down here, and let's just say the organizational budget is $162,000. That's how much the restaurant's revenue and everything is, but the actual project budget is $30,000 for food, for takeaway containers and utensils and renting the event space. Maybe Lisa gets the event space in kind, so you don't have to pay for the event space at U of M, but you've already got $5,000 for the project, so you're doing an additional $25,000 in this funding request. And so I really just wanted to break down how to use this proposal. I've used this with individual clients, but I wanted to just give you guys some scope and you can answer them within. But the more detail that you have in here, like you want to say more than POC led. Like what are the POC? Black. Maybe it's Asia Pacific Islander, and maybe a lot of the Pacific Islander meals are plant-based, and that's where you get some of your expertise with Lisa, you know? So you want to definitely go more in depth with that. This in itself, Cooking for Fuel Chefs LLC, is not a real, entity that I'm working with. I just brainstormed this as an opportunity to give folks who are participating in the Get series, or who might view this and want to work with me on putting together a proposal, because that's how you're going to get the most out of this sheet and this chart. So I hope that this is helpful. This is part 8 of Gifted, Enlightened, and Transparent, and I look forward to seeing you in part 9 next week. Bye.